for your name?
My name is Louise Goodman.
And what is your involvement in...
I am one of the ambassadors for Girls on Track.
So what does that mean?
It means that I'm one of a group of women who are currently involved in the industry in various different areas of the industry. I work on the media side, but there are engineers, there are medics, there are all sorts of people currently working in the industry who work as ambassadors. So that involves coming along to the events, but also being there as a kind of sounding board and a bit of a mentoring facility for girls both at these events. Obviously they're quite young, but also there's the online community as well. So and there you've got older girls who are looking at further education courses and that kind of thing. So it's a bit of a sounding board for, well, what's the best path to do here? How can I pursue this? So really just using our experience to help people who are looking to come up and work in the industry.
And do you think it was harder to gain that experience because you are female?
For me personally, I've been working in the sport for quite a long time. I always say I fell into it. It was a set of happy circumstance, really. And I think at the top level of the sport, it's so competitive. Formula One teams really don't care whether you're black, white, male, female. They just want the best person for the job. The issue is, and that's where something like these events, I think, really serve their purpose and are a great thing to do. There are less girls getting involved in STEM subjects. There are less girls getting involved in things that could lead to a career in motorsport. And furthermore, I think there is still very much a perception to a certain extent among teachers, amongst the parents, that motorsport is for boys. The reality of that from within the sport, that's never been my experience, and I can only speak from personal experience. It's never one instance when I first worked in the sport when somebody said, you're going to have this girl, my then boss, or my boss to be, said, no, I don't want a girl, and the other guy said, no, she's great. That was to work as a press officer for a Formula One team. He never employed another boy as a press officer for a Formula One team because he could see actually that, this was a job that girls could do in some ways better than some of the boys, because we could get the boy racing drivers to do stuff that the male press officers won't be able to get them to do. So my personal experience is no, it's never worked against me. But as I say, I think there aren't enough girls getting into the sport, so we need to change that perception externally that motorsport is for boys, because I can tell you from experience it 100% is.
If you could give one piece of advice to people like me and Millie who are hoping to get into the profession in the future, what would you say?
I'd say two things. Contacts. Yes, you've got to have the relevant qualifications, but it's not just about what you know, it's about who you know. So that would really be my main point of advice. I think a lot of people look at the top echelons, they look at Formula One. There's a whole raft of motorsport going on before you even get to Formula One. I worked in Formula One, still do. I also, for ITV now, cover a championship called the British Touring Car Championship. So we have Formula 4 on, out there. So 6 years ago, I was interviewing Lando Norris in his Formula 4, his Ginetta days, when he was only this high. He's now up to this high. But, so that's where people come up through the ranks as drivers, as mechanics, as engineers. That's where people can come up through the ranks as in the media, in all different areas of the sport. So, yeah, you might aim high, but, get some contacts and then get some experience as well, because it might look very good on paper. You might have a dream about working in motorsport, but I think you need to prove it's a very competitive industry. You need to prove that actually you have the wherewithal and, you're going to put the effort into working motorsport as well, because it's not all sunshine, glory, and, it's a lot of hard work. I'll often describe it as it's a way of life. It's not just a job. You're away from home a lot, you're working weekends, all your mates are going to parties, you're missing them. So I think you have got to be passionate about it, but you've also got to understand that it's bloody hard work. You're going to have to clamber over people to get into it because it's very competitive. But I think if you manage to do that, for me, it's been an amazing place to earn my living for more than 3 decades now.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.